In the top stories, Federation records another positive COVID-19 case. Prime Minister Harris presides over Monetary Council meeting. And senior health official speaks on delays in receiving COVID test results. The details on these stories and more after the break.
In your formative years, we were there. When you got the good news and the bad, we were right there with you. Through all your great adventures, we were always right by your side. Now that life has thrown us a curveball, we are still here. And as we navigate this difficult period, the SKCCU will continue to be there for you and your family to help you through. We will assist you in safely and efficiently accessing your funds through our digital platforms, online banking, mobile banking, ATMs, and even our drive-through services. We can get through this together with responsible financial decisions by making food and medication a priority, practicing proper hygiene, maintaining social distancing, and constant prayer.
We're here for you. We're still here. We will get through this together.
SKCCU will continue to be your financial partner for life.
Without limits, happy, free. The skin you're in with no apology. The one to seize the day. Grab an LLB, live, love, be. With LLB, live, love, be. Live, love, be. Be who you know you can be. Grab an LLB, live, love, be. Angostura, lemon, lime, and bitters. Live, love, be.
Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Channel 5 newscast. I'm Carla Berridge. The Federation has recorded another positive case of COVID-19. According to a statement from the Ministry of Health on Friday, the case is an international traveler and was confirmed on Thursday, January 7th. The traveler landed in the Federation on Wednesday from the United States of America. The patient has been in quarantine at one of the COVID-19 certified hotels since arrival in the Federation. The patient was notified and is in isolation. This additional case brings the total number of COVID-19 confirmed cases to 34, with 22 cases for St. Kitts and 12 cases for Nevis. 31 cases have fully recovered with 0 deaths. There are now 3 active cases. These patients are stable and are being monitored. On Friday, Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, in his capacity as Chairman of the Monetary Council of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, presided over the first special meeting of the Monetary Council for 2021. Prime Minister Harris participated in the virtual meeting from the headquarters of the ECCB. The gathering of Prime Ministers, Premiers, and Ministers of Finance of the Currency Union discussed matters of concern to the region and how best to advance the agenda of financial stability, growth and development in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. The meeting took place against the backdrop of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic as a major downside risk to global and regional growth. Prime Minister Harris was supported in the Friday's meeting by Financial Secretary Hilary Hazel. More than 6,000 COVID-19 tests have been processed as part of the efforts by health authorities in St. Kitts and Nevis to detect and control any cases of the novel coronavirus. The opening of the borders to regional and international passengers on October 31st, 2020 has seen a significant increase in the demand for COVID-19 testing. This has caused some delays in the return of test results, which is normally produced less than 24 hours after samples are taken. That's according to Medical Chief of Staff at the Joseph N. France General Hospital, Dr. Cameron Wilkinson. During Wednesday's edition of the NEOC COVID-19 briefing, Dr. Wilkinson called for patience.
Our staff has been working non-stop around the clock for the last 9 months and are beginning to experience burnout. While we will continue to work tirelessly, it is becoming increasingly unrealistic to set a goal to deliver hundreds of results on the same day persons were tested, as our capacity is being stretched.
He said it was important to protect health workers, ensuring that they remain safe and healthy. He encouraged the inbound travelers to alter their plans to take any eventualities into account.
Going forward, when you enter quarantine, you should expect to be there for a minimum of 14 days and possibly an added 24 to 48 hours pending results. We apologize for the inconvenience this may cause to all persons going into quarantine, but we will continue to deliver the best service possible with the health of our nation as our primary focus.
Medical Chief of Staff at the Joseph N. France General Hospital, Dr. Cameron Wilkinson. The Republic of China Taiwan has pledged to assist St. Kitts and Nevis's effort to procure additional COVID-19 vaccines once they become available under the COVID-19 Vaccine Global Access Facility, COVAX. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Hazel Laws said that the pledge was made by Taiwan's resident ambassador, His Excellency Tom Lee, during a visit to the Ministry of Health on Wednesday, January 6th. She said, quote, "The Republic of China Taiwan is making a very generous donation to the Federation of US $600,000 towards the procurement of vaccines." She added that St. Kitts and Nevis previously made the required down payment to the COVAX arrangement to make available enough vaccines to cover 20% of the population in the initial stages. Taiwan has been a reliable partner in St. Kitts and Nevis's war against novel coronavirus. Taiwan previously made donations of personal protective equipment to the government. These included ventilators, N95 face masks, thermal camera sets, forehead thermal guns, protective clothing, isolation gowns, and testing machines. Several countries have given emergency approval to use vaccines against COVID-19 among their populations. Persons are receiving vaccines manufactured by Pfizer-BioNTech as well as Moderna. The United Kingdom recently approved a vaccine manufactured by Oxford AstraZeneca for emergency use by its population. After the break, fishermen still missing at sea and cruise ships docked at Port Zante leave. Stay with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, National Bank presents Showtime! Only in December, National Bank is offering a loan 2 times your annual salary, up to $75,000 unsecured. You heard right, 2 times your annual salary, up to $75,000 unsecured. There's even an option to pay interest only until November 2021. Call your closest branch to make an appointment. Remember, it's Showtime at National. Terms and conditions apply. National Bank, always here.
Here is how I pay my Flow bills using the MyFlow app in just 3 easy steps. First, I downloaded the free app from the App Store. Then, I opened the app and logged in with my Flow ID. I activated my Flow ID earlier for free at flowid.co. I clicked on the account number and watched the magic begin. All my bills and the info right there at my fingertips. Just confirm the payment amount, then card details, and that's it. No trips to town, no long lines, and no hassle. Flow is keeping me connected.
Welcome back. The police, the Coast Guard, and other agencies continued their search this week for fisherman Clovis Williams, who went missing at sea on December 19, 2020. Various agencies have been participating in the search, which has been going on for about 3 weeks, but Williams has not been found. According to Acting Divisional Commander for District B, Inspector Eldrin Dickinson, the police received a report by Sylvester Williams of Old Road that Clovis Williams had gone missing at sea. According to the report, 39-year-old Williams of Green Tree Housing Project, Dave Samuel, and Chad Pogson went out to sea just off the Old Road police station. When the fishermen arrived at the designated spot, Williams reportedly dove overboard to retrieve a fish pot. However, he never resurfaced. The Coast Guard was called in, and they and other vessels searched the area. Coast Guard divers also searched underwater, but Williams was not found. The 2 cruise ships that had been granted safe harbor at Port Zante have been relocated as of this weekend. According to a statement issued on Friday, the Royal Caribbean Group has advised the government of St. Kitts and Nevis that due to operational needs for both the Grandeur of the Seas and the Rhapsody of the Seas and their respective shoreside teams, the vessels were scheduled to be relocated as of Friday, January 8th. The statement said, quote, St. Kitts has always enjoyed a strong partnership with the Royal Caribbean Group, and we look forward to welcoming their passengers when cruising resumes in the future, end quote. Officials from the counseling unit within the Ministry of Social Development say despite the challenges posed by family counseling, the counseling unit has witnessed success in how families have benefited from its Family Matters program. The counseling unit is piloting the Family Matters program, FMP, which is an evidence-based, parent-focused intervention program funded by the United States Agency for International Development, USAID. This program has been adapted and implemented in countries throughout the world and is designed to promote positive parenting and improve parent-child communication. During this week's edition of Working for You, family counselor Alicia Collins spoke of the challenges in the initial rollout of the program.
Our first year was the most challenging year because it was a new approach. No service provider was entering into any home. We usually would work in a community center, a community setting, a school, but we were asking families to allow us into their space.
Right.
And and this space sometimes we would have met on a pasture, but it has to be a quiet, confidential space. We would have met on fields and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we would have gotten some resistance. Person was saying, well, I don't trust you all. I don't know if you all are here to take away my children.
Director of the counseling unit, Michelle Delacodre Blake, said that the training received from the USAID allowed staff members to change their perspectives on these challenges and take steps in the right direction towards achieving their overall goal of reducing risk factors within the family so as to better protect children. As a result, the families were more accepting of the message and welcomed
to each other for
years.
Come
Said
together.
the family counselors interacted with the families, engaging in positive reinforcement of parenting skills. Another success highlighted
parents
that of
may not have
parents
spoken
changing their strategy of discipline.
We've seen parents change their strategy of discipline,
Yes.
move it away from that punitive to having conversations that then yield results. We've seen children step up to the plate, young people step up to the plate and be engaged in the household and what's going on there. We've seen families come together to plan celebrations and all of them execute and do and just have a great time. We've seen the multi-generational where people come in from the family and become a part of the functioning of the family.
She said that these successes were a direct result of engagement through the Family Matters program. And finally, on the local scene, Carib Journal has named St. Kitts as one of 21 best Caribbean islands to visit in 2021. The online tourism publication has been quoted as saying, "The island of St. Kitts has all the elements we're looking for right now. It's uncrowded, it's calm, it's wonderfully beautiful, and it's also home to the out-of-this-world Park Hyatt St. Kitts, the brand's only Caribbean hotel." St. Kitts was named 5th best island to visit among islands such as St. Thomas, Antigua, Bonaire, St. Barts, and the Bahamas. According to its website, Carib Journal is the world's largest website covering the Caribbean, with original content and video focusing on travel and tourism across the entire Caribbean basin. Coming up in regional news, family of woman killed by police vehicle alleges cover-up. The details when we come back.
From the beginning.
Here is how I pay my Flow bills using the MyFlow app in just 3 easy steps. First, I downloaded the free app from the App Store. Then, I opened the app and logged in with my Flow ID. I activated my Flow ID earlier for free at flowid.co. I clicked on the account number and watched the magic begin. All my bills and the info right there at my fingertips. Just confirm the payment amount, then card details, and that's it. No trips to town, no long lines, and no hassle. Flow is keeping me connected.
Why wait until the holidays? Avoid the rush. Visit Perfume Shop Port Zante for all
And we're moving now to news on the regional scene. In Guyana, the family of a 59-year-old woman who was fatally struck down by a police vehicle on Tuesday morning while waiting to cross the road is alleging a massive cover-up by the Guyana police force. Amel Griffith reports.
Police authorities should conduct a credible investigation into the death of 59-year-old Dolmati Budlal, the sons of the woman told the Nightly News on Thursday. According to Budlal's son, she was struck down by a Guyana police force minibus on Tuesday while attempting to cross the Nandi Park public road on the east bank of Demerara in the vicinity of Shahid Supermarket. This occurred at approximately 6:26 a.m., just moments after the woman's older son dropped her off for work. Vijay Dauchan called for the driver of the vehicle to be made known to the family and subsequently charged with murder. He is, however, fearful that this would not come to pass.
Police ain't giving me no evidence over nobody. Just asking me a question and we hear nothing from the person who killed my mother.
During the interview with this newscast, the man said it is completely unacceptable how police are handling the situation. According to Dauchan, the family was told that the GPF bus, which is attached to the Tactical Service Unit, driven by a constable stationed at said unit and attached to former President Mr. David Granger, was driving at 50 kilometers per hour. However, according to the post-mortem examination, the Grove resident died from multiple injuries.
If you're driving 50 kilometers per hour, how you could hit this lady? And yesterday was a post-mortem. She foot brake, she hand brake, she neck brake. Multiple injuries.
They are certain that the bus was speeding.
Feel bad because I know that she was a single parent. She grew 4 weeks from mine way. Now she built her house, she was to inherit her house. Still going to work and sad for know that she gone.
What is more heart-rending, according to the dead woman's sons, is that Budlal, a mother of 4 and grandmother of 3, was deprived of the opportunity to meet her 4th grandchild, who was born mere moments after she was killed. Budlal's family has vowed to fight for justice.
The story can't just go wrong like this because she got hit on a crossing. Never said that she was madly enough to just run over the road on a crossing. When you see a crossing, what the crossing mean to do? You have to stop and wait.
In response to the queries from Nightly News, Regional Commander Lyndon Isles expressed shock with the family's allegations regarding a cover-up. He stated that following the accident, himself, Commissioner of Police Acting Nigel Hoppy, Traffic Chief Ramesh Ashram, and other senior officers of the Guyana Police Force met with the relatives. During this meeting, he claimed that the family were provided with the personal numbers of the ranks and were assured that justice will run its due course. The suspect remains under close arrest. For the HGP Nightly News, Amel Griffith.
During its first ordinary session, the Venezuelan parliament unanimously approved the draft bill on the defense of the sovereignty and the territorial integrity of the Essequibo region. More in this report.
The bill was presented by lawmaker Diosdado Cabello. The document condemns the ruling of the International Court of Justice, declaring it has jurisdiction to hear a territorial dispute between Guyana and Venezuela over the demarcation of their land border and the Essequibo territory. Thus, the Venezuelan government reaffirmed its historical position of recognizing the Geneva Agreement as the only mechanism to resolve the territorial dispute.
The lawmakers who agreed to approve the bill presented to reject the decision of the International Court of Justice on the dispute between the Cooperative Republic of Guyana and the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela with respect to the territory of Essequibo, please indicate so as usual. Approved unanimously.
Coming up, Donald Trump finally acknowledges his election loss. We'll tell you more when we come back.
Imagine having the luxury of putting all your trust in one insurance company and being able to enjoy life to the fullest without having to worry. Well, don't imagine. National Caribbean Insurance is here to take care of all your insurance needs. Insure your life, vehicle, boat, home, belongings, and your future. At NCI, we make it our business to ensure that you enjoy every stage in life. We serve, we protect, we satisfy. That's NCI.
Dr. Blake's General Dentistry and Orthodontics, located on South Independence Square Street in Basseterre, is the place to discover that perfect smile you have always dreamt of. With convenient hours to serve you, Dr. Blake's Dental assures the best preventative and restorative care to guarantee the health and beauty of your smile. Call 466-7622 for your appointments.
Welcome back. In the face of growing calls for his removal from office, U.S. President Donald Trump has finally condemned the mob that violently breached the U.S. Capitol building. For the first time, he also acknowledged his term will end in less than 2 weeks. Al Jazeera's Gabriel Elizondo reports.
More than 24 hours after his supporters rioted at the U.S. Capitol, Donald Trump, in a Twitter video, finally condemned the violence that shocked the nation.
To those who engaged in the acts of violence and destruction, you do not represent our country.
And for the first time, and in a dramatic shift in tone, the U.S. president acknowledged he lost the election.
A new administration will be inaugurated on January 20th. My focus now turns to ensuring a smooth, orderly, and seamless transition of power.
Earlier, incoming U.S. President Joe Biden blamed Trump for unleashing what he called an assault on American democracy and lambasted the pro-Trump rioters.
They weren't protesters. Don't dare call them protesters. They were a riotous mob, insurrectionists, domestic terrorists.
On Thursday, a cleanup inside the nation's capital and a return to normal, as most Trump supporters who took part in the rally and subsequent rioting appeared to have left town and headed home. Outside, fencing around the entire Capitol complex to avoid a repeat of the day before. And there was increased security, including the presence of National Guard troops. Meanwhile, both Democratic congressional leaders and at least one Republican lawmaker are calling for Trump's removal from office.
The Vice President can invoke the 25th Amendment today, and if the Cabinet votes, he's gone. They should do it now.
The President has committed an unspeakable assault on our nation and our people.
All indications are that the President has become unmoored, not just from his duty, or even his oath, but from reality itself.
Senior Republican Senator Lindsey Graham doesn't believe removal is appropriate, but did deliver this rare rebuke of his friend and ally.
When it comes to accountability, the President needs to understand that his actions were the problem, not the solution.
And in the wake of the riots, resignations, including 2 cabinet members, Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao and Education Secretary Betsy DeVos. President Trump's conciliatory message will be seen by many as his attempt to salvage his legacy and rebuild his image in the final days that he occupies the White House. The question, is it too little, too late? Gabriel Elizondo, Al Jazeera, Washington.
Leading plane maker Boeing Co. will pay $2.5 billion to settle a criminal charge of concealing design flaws in its 737 MAX planes to resolve the U.S. Department of Justice investigation into 2 deadly crashes involving their aircraft. The settlement includes money for the families of victims of the crashes that killed 346 people and grounded fleets worldwide. Al Jazeera's Laura Braden-Manley reports.
Boeing's once sterling reputation badly tarnished after it was accused of a major cover-up. The Department of Justice said the corporation chose profit over candor, lying before and after 2 of its MAX aircraft crashed, killing 346 people. Boeing has agreed to pay $2.5 billion to settle criminal charges. About $500 million will compensate the loved ones of the crash victims, and more than $1.7 billion to its customer airlines. In a note to staff published on its website, Boeing's chief executive said it's a step that acknowledges how they fell short of values and expectations.
Rather not a significant amount of money for Boeing. This is a company that has in revenue over $100 billion per year, and by its own financial disclosure records, it has in cash at any given time, or at least at the end of November, about $10 billion in cash, so this is a relatively small sum.
In October 2018, a Boeing 737 MAX took off from Jakarta in a flight that should have only taken an hour. Minutes later, it plummeted into the sea, killing all 189 people on board. A few months later, in March 2019, the same Boeing MAX model took off from Ethiopia's capital, Addis Ababa, in clear skies. 6 minutes after takeoff, it lost contact with air traffic control and hit the ground, killing all 157 people on board. Investigators say a flight control system pushed the aircraft's nose down, an automated feature Boeing clearly didn't explain in its pilot training manual. The discovery led to the MAX's immediate grounding, the longest in aviation history.
The greater impact will be on the reputation of Boeing. There had been suspicion in the aviation community and certainly in the victims' families that some of the things that Boeing did during the design of this aircraft weren't exactly up to standard.
Boeing has since redesigned its flight control system, and on December 29, a 737 MAX took to the skies once again in its first commercial US flight since the grounding. But despite services resuming, it will take some time for the company to regain public trust. Laura Braden-Manley, Al Jazeera.
Up next in sports, Gale, Bravo and Simmons among 5 Windies players set for 2021 PSL draft, and football president against selling the home of football. Stay with us.
Imagine having the luxury of putting all your trust in one insurance company and being able to enjoy life to the fullest without having to worry. Well, don't imagine. National Caribbean Insurance is here to take care of all your insurance needs. Insure your life, vehicle, boat, home, belongings, and your future. At NCI, we make it our business to ensure that you enjoy every stage in life. We serve, we protect, we satisfy. That's NCI.
Covering the cup. No cup in the epileptic. The coronavirus is bad. So there is one thing we can do. Wash your hands, wash your hands,
your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. To keep away the flu, there is one thing we must do. Wash our hands, wash our hands, wash our hands.
First up in sports, Chris Gayle, Dwayne Bravo and Carlos Brathwaite are among several West Indies players who have made themselves available for the Pakistan Super League draft set for January 10, 2021 in Lahore. Evan Lewis and Lendl Simmons were also the players whose names were released on Tuesday by the PSL. They are among 25 international players who will be available for the 16 competition, even though some of them will only be available for a part of the season due to a packed international calendar during the February to March window. Gayle has played previously in the PSL for the Karachi Kings and the Lahore Quaylanders. Other notable players who are in the draft pool include Imran Tahir, Chris Jordan, Chris Lynn, Mohamed Nabi, Alex Hales and Moin Morkel. The 25 foreign players have been placed in the platinum category, from which the 6 franchises will select. Former Trinidad and Tobago Football Association President David John Williams is against mortgaging or selling the home of football in Balmain, Couva. There are talks of selling the stadium to cover mounting debts. More in this report.
The U.S. $2.5 million facility was built under the John Williams administration and opened in November 2019. With the TTFA in an estimated debt of $70 million, the Normalization Committee is considering mortgaging or selling the facility to offset expenses. However, John Williams told TDD Sports the committee should leverage the asset against getting money.
What ways they can leverage that assets to pay down the debt is the only avenue to pay down the debt. But they have to find creative ways. They have to talk to FIFA, they have to talk to CONCACAF. Maybe FIFA could buy it and lease it back to them. It's something that was always on the table under my administration. But it must remain in football. It is something that is tangible and it's important for the TTFA.
The home of football contains a 72-room facility built to serve as a hotel for local and visiting teams. John Williams says the facility could save the TTFA $4 million annually in hotel fees.
If you can sell 40 rooms at $60 US double occupancy, which is $30 US a night per person, and you sell that 400 nights, it is $140,000 US in cash flow, and I'm talking dog cheap. So it is something bigger than that. Of course, you have the national teams that will save the TTFA at least $4 million a year in terms of housing national teams.
And that's it for sports. When we come back, we'll have another look at the stories that made the headlines.
To avoid getting the coronavirus, remember to wash your hands thoroughly and frequently before and after preparing food, after using the toilet or changing a diaper for a baby, sick person, or the elderly, after blowing your nose, and after leaving large gatherings or moving away from persons who appear ill. Encourage others to wash their hands and also use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer of 60 to 70% solution. Stay away from events having large gatherings of people. You can expose yourself to more possible infections in large groups. Also, avoid sharing cutlery, cups, glassware, etc. with others. Viruses can linger on these items and may be transferred this way. Avoid shaking and holding hands, and hugging or keeping an infected person in close proximity. This is a message from the Ministry of Health and the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA.
And we're wrapping up with a recap of the top stories. Federation records another positive COVID-19 case. Prime Minister Harris presides over Monetary Council meeting, and senior health official speaks on delays in receiving COVID test results. And that's the end of the ZIZ Channel 5 newscast. Thank you for joining us. I'm Carla Berridge. Goodbye.